Hi, everyone. Welcome to our public safety career exploration by current and previous El Camino College students. There's a handful of us here that helped to build this event, and so we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves. And then after that, we'll ask the panelists to introduce themselves. And then we'll go through some questions and end with a breakout room session where you guys can directly ask questions to these representatives. So hi, everyone. My name's Polly Parks. I am a microbiology professor at El Camino College, and my course typically serves pre-nursing students.
Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Jeffries, and I'm one of the counselors under the Health and Community Wellness Meta Major. So if you have any questions or you want to get an educational plan done for any of these majors, you would make an appointment with somebody under the Health and Community Wellness Meta Major through the counseling website.
My name is Stephanie Bennett. I am also one of the Health and Community Wellness counselors. So everything Chris just said, that's me too.
My name is Nate Fernley. I'm an instructor in the Health Sciences and Athletics Department. I'm also the baseball coach on campus.
I am Jeff Bomuck. I'm the Director of Public Safety. I oversee all of our FTech and AJ courses here on campus.
Hello, my name is Ryan Carey. I'm the EMT Program Director, and I work under Jeff.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carla Velasquez Lopez. I work for the Office of Outreach and School Relations at El Camino College. So if you're getting text messages and emails, that's me.
Tom Hazel, I'm an instructor in health sciences and athletics.
Good morning. My name is Abraham Leon. I'm a student currently right now at the EMT program at El Camino.
I'm Russell Sir, Dean of Health Science and Athletics.
So I think that that's everyone. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but could the other panelists introduce themselves?
Yeah, my name is Andrew Johnson. I'm a firefighter EMT at the Rincon Fire Department, and Ms. Parks has graciously asked me to help out with today's course, so here I am.
My name is Christina Colson. I'm a full-time paramedic firefighter with the City of Culver City Fire Department, and I went through El Camino College for most of my fire tech courses and through their fire academy, and then I got hired with Culver City in January of 2019.
My name is Drew Griffey. I am currently the lead senior mentor at the Fire Academy, as well as finishing up my AS in fire science at El Camino.
Awesome. So I think that was everyone. So again, welcome to our event. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and take it, pass it on to Jeff and Russell, who will be asking the panelists the questions. Jeff, you want to do the first one?
So Drew, Christina, Abraham, Andrew, can you please explain or tell us what inspired you to pursue the public safety field?
I guess I'll go first. What inspired me to pursue the public safety field was just growing up, playing sports, being in that environment. I wanted to do something that was going to be like a community-based career. So my original field of study was kinesiology with an emphasis in teaching. And then I did a couple ride-alongs with the local fire departments around me, and I found that the fire department is what I wanted to be in, I wanted to be a part of. And from my first ride along, I just jumped right in and started taking fire science courses, EMT, just dove headfirst in, and then eventually went through the fire academy through El Camino.
How about you, Christina? You're muted, sorry.
So I was born and raised in Redondo Beach, a 5-minute drive down the street from El Camino. So It was the first school I went to after high school, went and took some classes there. Always had a good experience. And then I moved to Hawaii, and that's where I actually finished my schooling out there, went to the EMT program in Hawaii. And then when I moved back to California is when I wanted to more get into the fire side of it. So I kind of found myself back at El Camino again, was able to take all of my classes there. Just always was really interested in both the fire and the EMS side from the beginning, and was kind of able to pursue both of those here. So just because of my background, kind of living in this area and being close to the college, I think it was just natural for me to want to take the fire academy there. And I just feel like it always was, you know, kind of, so I always had an interest in kind of giving back, and this felt like the best way for me to do that.
Abraham or Abe?
I've always had an inclination towards helping people. It's been drilled into my head since I was a little kid by my mom that we're all here for a purpose. You know, we're all here to do a job. And I feel it's always made me feel really good to be helping people, especially in a time of need. You know, if an EMT is there, it's probably not a good day for that person, but you're there to make them feel better and to provide a positive experience for them and to help them out. And I think that's my calling. It's my calling to help people, and that's why I'm here.
Andrew?
Yeah, what inspired me to pursue a career in public safety was I enjoy helping others, like most of the other candidates said. The thing that really drew me to firefighting was the camaraderie. I've always been a part of teams. I played college soccer at Dominguez Hills, which is a Cal State in the city of Carson, so in the South Bay area, and just always being around a team. I really was attracted, just wanting to be a part of something like that in the fire service. Nothing against folks that work in an office. I can't do it. So tons of props to you guys to do that. But I like working with my hands. I like getting dirty. I like being mechanical. And then just having that family that you can go to every day at work. So you kind of have two families, which is really a neat thing. It's unique to the fire service. And there's no days the same as a firefighter. You're always doing something different. You always got to kind of get out of your comfort zone. And that's really why I enjoy it. Every day is a challenge. Every day is something different. So.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess this one's me, right, Polly? Right. Okay, what were some of the biggest challenges you overcame along your academic path? And were there any resources you utilized that help you overcome these obstacles? Christina?
You're muted again, Christina.
Sorry. I think for me, probably one of the biggest things was I had kind of gone to school, and then I was out in the world, like working, and then kind of that decision to come back to school again and kind of get back into the swing of that was a big decision for me. I already had another job, and you know, kind of to get back into that mode of like being in school and taking classes and kind of doing all that, I think was just at the time kind of a big transition for me. But you know, it's I think, and obviously in the long run, you have to kind of make a decision in what do you want to invest in. So I always saw it as more of like an investment, all this time and classes and different academies and all these things as kind of what is your long-term goal. So when you look at it that way, I think that kind of became a little easier as far as maybe some short-term like sacrifices to kind of achieve your long-term goal. So I think just that to have that support of, you know, that there's other people kind of making those same decisions, and especially with the academy itself, kind of you have a lot of people who are in the same boat as you. So
Abraham?
So I think right out of high school, which was a while ago for me, like 12 years, one of my biggest challenges was finding my path, finding my way, what I wanted to do, what career path I wanted to start in. And I did start going to El Camino right after. The semesters didn't go all that great because I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. I ended up joining the Marines for 8 years. It was reserves. I didn't go to combat or anything, but I definitely learned a lot of leadership qualities, a lot of, that get it done attitude, get in there, be that frontline person. When you see something that needs to be done, just go ahead and do it. That's definitely something that helped me out in the military. Not saying that you got to go to the military to develop those skills, because you certainly don't have to, but it definitely helped me out. And that's something that I'm going to be using for the rest of my life, especially now.
Thanks, Abraham. Andrew?
Yeah, so some of the biggest challenges for me, I went and got my Bachelor of Science. So like I mentioned before, I went to Cal State Dominguez Hills and graduated. And then it took a couple years not going to school. I was managing at a soccer training facility and kind of hadn't gone back to school until 2017 when I went to EMT school with Professor Carey. And I think one of the biggest challenges there is just there's so much. I mentioned it before we got into this chat that there's EMT school can be overwhelming for sure. And so I went in the same class as Drew, and we always did study groups together. And I think that helped me out a lot. I'm not a paramedic, and I know Christina is, and that's a whole nother ball game. And I don't know if paramedic is necessarily for me, but yeah, having some resources such as friends, going through the EMT class, just bouncing ideas off of each other. And then academically in the fire academy as well, it was the same thing. You're expected to perform in your book work as well as outside on the grinder every day. And just having those groups of friends, those study sessions together, that's what really helps out as far as having good resources and how to overcome those challenges.
Could I just piggyback off of what he said yeah, I should have said that Zoom classes and get into a study session with your groups. The EMT class is divided into squads, and definitely relying on each other in the squad to help get these assignments done, or just being able to reach out when you don't understand something, or even self-motivating, because these classes are online and you're expected to do them and you might lag a little bit. So having that accountability from friends in your squad to help you through is definitely something that's helping me out.
Thanks, everybody.
We still got Drew.
That was Drew, wasn't it?
That was Abe jumping back in. Go.
You got anything else, Drew?
Yeah. So like Andrew mentioned, we both went to school. We went to high school together, and then we actually both went to Dominguez Hills at the same time. He was just playing soccer, and I was just focusing on schoolwork. And then we actually did take EMT together. So I think like those resources of like friends, like everybody else has said, classmates has really helped out a lot. I know some of the biggest challenges I had was changing majors at El Camino. I changed majors a couple times, so that kind of set me back a little bit. And then once I did figure out what I was going to pursue, which was kinesiology, I wasn't really sure after all the time that I had spent at Elko if I wanted to even continue going on. I got my AA and I was like, you know what, I need a break. I took 6 years or whatever it was at Elko. And so finally I talked to the head of the kinesiology department, who is a family friend of mine at Dominguez Hills. And he kind of convinced me to go to school, continue it out, get my bachelor's. That would open a lot of doors for me. So I did that. And then coming back to Elko after a couple of years of taking time off, just working, and going into pursuing the fire tech route was another challenge because I had to get back into that school mode after I'd been going to school for a while and then took a break. And like Andrew said, the Fire Academy is no joke. You're there probably 10 to 12 hours a day, depending on how late you're staying there, based on how well you perform throughout the day. But you're with your friends, you're all going through the struggle together, and having that group bonded through struggle, you form a really strong bond with those people that you went through the Fire Academy with. And I know for my class personally, we still all talk together at least once a week, if not every day. We're still sending each other messages, seeing how we're all doing. And that resource alone kind of helped overcome that Fire Academy challenge.
All right, group, what advice would you have given yourself when you were just starting out?
Well, me as just an EMT student, definitely take a human anatomy. Learn the body before you get to class. You don't have to, but when you get there, you're gonna know the terminologies, where is, what is where, and that's very important. Instead of having to learn it while you're learning your EMT skills. Coming into something like that with knowledge would be way better. When you get to class, take initiative, raise your hand, interact with the teachers, interact with the students, ask questions. If they ask for leaders, raise your hand. I'll do it. Even if you're scared, just do it and start practicing those social interactions, because as an EMT, you're going to be out there interacting with people. And if it's a little nervous for you during Zoom, it's going to be even worse, in person. So start practicing those social interactions. Another thing, get healthy, start working out. It's going to be a very physically demanding job, very physically demanding on your brain. Eat right, eat the right things, exercise. It's definitely going to help you out. And also, there's many positions available other than just going into ambulances. And I wish I knew this because I would have started sooner. And there's a lot of contracting jobs that you can get with just an EMT license, especially right now with this whole COVID thing. There's a lot of money to be made. It's as bad as that sounds. They need people out there to administer shots, to administer the tests, and with an EMT license, you can do all that.
Thanks, Abe. Andrew?
Yeah, I think some advice that I would have given myself when I started back in 2017, which is the first step of just getting my CPR card. But it's definitely a slow process. If you want to, for some folks, it can be a slower process, and you have to be patient. I think patience is a big thing if you want to become a firefighter. Like Abe mentioned, taking care of your body, taking care of your diet, working out is extremely beneficial. That way, when you do find yourself in a situation that's adverse or challenging, you have the fitness, you have the cardiovascular system to mitigate that situation, which is a lot of what firefighting is. When we're on emergency scene and we got to get a 400-pound patient out of a doorway, it's going to take the entire team. So having good fitness, you have to have mental fortitude for sure. If you want to become a firefighter, it's one day at a time, and you have to be diligent about taking classes, going through a fire academy, applying as much as you can, anywhere you can, whether even if it's out of state. I know Chief Beaumont, I'm still on an email list, and he's always giving us opportunities and giving us a heads up about not just what's in California, but what's outside of the state. And so maintaining your national registry as an EMT or a paramedic it behooves you to do so, especially in today's kind of unprecedented times and the way things are going here in the state of California. Being a firefighter in California is one of the best things because we have fire season basically takes up an entire third of the year. So we're definitely busy, but kind of getting off track there. But yeah, just being patient, being diligent, and yeah, every day taking it one day at a time and making sure you're doing all your classes.
Drew?
One of the pieces of advice I would give myself when I was just starting out is not to be so timid, take charge. I know throughout my fire academy experience, you're broken up into engine companies and you have a captain, and it's set up like a actual fire department. And I know the first couple of weeks of the academy, I was very timid and kind of quiet and wouldn't participate and wouldn't be the first one to like jump in and try a skill because I didn't want to be the one to mess it up. But then I think it was the 4th week or the 6th week, my engine company voted me as captain, and that kind of changed everything, because now I was the one that was giving the orders to my engine. I was the one kind of breaking everybody out, doing things, and that really just changed my personality and my experience in the academy. And I know I was very similar in EMT. I'm sure Andrew Johnson knows. I wasn't really the one to like step forward and do things first. I was kind of quiet. I would do it. And like if my squad needed help in the class, I would help them out, but I was kind of just to myself doing things, and that's not beneficial to this career, especially working in a team. You need to be the one communicating, and you learn really quickly how to communicate in the fire academy. So I would just give myself the advice of to not be so timid, step out of your comfort zone, and don't be afraid to mess up, because if you mess up once, you're helping everybody else learn how not to do it. So you might look like a fool for a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're helping 30 other recruits in the academy or 30 other classmates in EMT learn the skill properly.
Christina?
So definitely a lot of what all of you guys said for sure. Specifically for me, I definitely feel like the big turning point was taking the fire academy. I feel like, because I had been, kind of working on getting hired before that, but now, kind of looking back, I felt like the first 2 years, I didn't realize it, but I was more in the mind frame of, well, I'm waiting to get hired. I'm waiting to get hired. And then I feel like I kind of switched to, what am I doing every single day to get hired? More of like an aggressive, like working on it every day versus this kind of passive, well, I've put apps in, I'm kind of just waiting around to, for the next step, where I think, but that can be tough because I think there's so many things, you're talking about anatomy class, you're talking about EMT, you're talking about the fire, there's so many different things. And so I think that was maybe part of it, was kind of narrowing down priorities and, okay, what do I need? What's the most important thing? Should I focus this semester on these fire tech classes, or should I do this? So I think there is, at points it was overwhelming to know what kind of to focus on. And so for me, looking back, I definitely feel like taking the fire academy was really the turning point as far as having those skills and having that on your resume and having that for applications. I think was the big change. Like, I wish I had done the fire academy sooner. So if I could, give advice to someone else, my past self, it would definitely be take the fire academy as soon as you're eligible, as soon as you can get in, and then kind of prioritizing on top of that, what you should be working on every day. Kind of every day you should have some type of small goal, whether it's just, maybe one station visit. I just want to, read one thing, go over my resume today, even if it's just one small thing every day. I think every day should kind of be setting one small goal. And then that way in a year from now, it's like, well, I didn't get hired. Well, were you just kind of sitting around waiting, or you can set those small goals every day to kind of advance yourself? And I think the Fire Academy for sure would be something that you should try to get in as soon as possible.
Okay, let's see. What is something you enjoy about your career or field of study that you didn't expect going into it? I guess you're first this time, Andrew.
Yeah, something that as far as firefighting goes, that I didn't expect I would enjoy out of this career is just being hands-on and being mechanical. I've never been a mechanical person. I've always been a part of team sports and playing soccer, so athletically is where I succeed. And I'm comfortable with all that, but kind of getting out of my comfort zone and getting into the mechanics of breaking down an engine, breaking down a chainsaw, taking care of our tools. And right now, as just recently got off probation with my department, and we're going through a driver operator test coming up here in the beginning of April. And so we've been studying all of the apparatus that we have on hand. So the engine, the truck, and the brush. We're doing daily checkouts on each of those and making sure that the engine's properly functioning, the air brakes are all good, the pump, the foam on the pump operates. On the quint that we have, we're taking the aerial up, making sure it operates good, and then lifting the cab, and then looking at all those components of the engine, checking out all the air supply tanks underneath the rig. There's so much to learn and know about the mechanics of how it all operates. And like I said, I never was a mechanical person, and now that I've been exposed to it, I see myself even outside of work, just being hands-on. I take care of the wood ladders here. We're actually one of the few departments in San Diego that still uses wood ladders, which is a source of pride in being able to just be good with maintaining those ladders. We use them a lot, and they get beat up during training. So understanding how to maintain those, sand them down, varnish them, and just make them looking sharp. It shows a lot of pride in your department and the way you take care of those ladders. I notice all of that hands-on stuff, the mechanical things, the woodworking, it all translates outside of work now. And I'm starting to do little projects on the side with my dad, and we just built this cool American flag out of wood. And it's something I never saw myself doing, but as you grow older and you start, your interests start changing, it's something I've really come to enjoy.
Great, Andrew. Thank you. How about you, Drew?
I would also agree with Andrew. I would say I'm not mechanically inclined. I never was mechanically inclined. I was kind of like the nerdy guy in school. I was very into computers and into that stuff growing up. And so going through the Fire Academy and EMT and just working with my hands taught me a lot. And especially being a mentor at the academy, now I'm responsible for rebuilding props that we use. I'm responsible for maintaining our equipment, showing the recruits how to maintain our equipment. That aspect of this field of study and career is very important, because if your tools aren't working, then you're going to be in trouble when you get onto an emergency scene. And so I was never one to take apart a chainsaw or take apart an engine and look at it at the basic component level. And now working as a mentor and being at the academy, I really do find myself enjoying that. I look forward to looking at our generators, looking at our chainsaws, trying to figure out if something's not working, how to fix it. I don't want to be the one to go try to get somebody else to fix it. I want to be the one to look at it and try to understand, okay, why is it not working? What can I do to fix it, make it better? So that's something that changed me.
Great. Thanks, Drew. Christina?
So I feel like I'm kind of on the same boat with them. I feel like, growing up, definitely I was never, kind of being mechanical and hands-on with that sort of stuff was never really something, I was exposed to. And as soon as I kind of got into fire, that was one of the main things that I realized that I loved was the hands-on stuff, the, manipulating stuff, the chainsaw use, all of that. I was just naturally drawn to it, and which was all new to me. So it was definitely a challenge to kind of go from not really having any background in any of that to that being something that I really wanted to learn more about. And so I feel like that was, I never would have thought that that was something that, the mechanical side of it that I was going to be so interested in. But, taking chainsaw courses and taking, pumping classes, just, realizing that that is really something that maybe if I had been exposed to it earlier, something I'd always had been into. So I think kind of just being that hands-on stuff and then definitely learning more about that as the career goes on, I think is going to be one of my main focuses. So it's definitely fun, and it's just fun to figure out, how things work and take them apart and put them back together. So.
Right on. Thank you. Abraham?
One thing I didn't expect that I really loved is that I learned so quickly, and my point of view, my mentality changed when I see people on the street. Like now I'm not just looking at people, but I'm looking at signs and symptoms. I can recognize when somebody has, diabetes, congestive heart failure, renal failure. You start to see those things when you see people out in the street. And I really like that. It changes just the way that you're thinking. If somebody in your family or your friends, they're not feeling well, guess what? You can take their BP. You can take their pulse just to give them a quick check, maybe make them feel a little better. You start to see everything from a medical standpoint, and I really enjoy that. Another thing is that you become an asset to your community. Just because you're off duty doesn't mean you wouldn't intervene in a life-threatening situation. Just a short story, a couple of years ago, I took this class 2 years ago, and then I went into construction, but I had all the knowledge in my head. I was having breakfast with my family, and a man at another table started having a seizure. Long story short, everybody in the restaurant didn't know what to do. They thought he was choking. They started the Heimlich maneuver on him. So I had to run over there, stop them. I knew what to do. I had somebody call 911, and it just, it all just came to me. And that was all from everything I learned in class. I was able to recognize signs and symptoms, take control, and get them help as soon as possible. So I really enjoy having all that knowledge.
Thank you. Anybody got anything else to add? No, thanks for your responses, guys.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open breakout rooms. Okay, so